but I don't not push it button for live, but we'll
Okay,
see.
so let us go streaming now.
We actually have a guy in China who runs 19 nodes online. That's
90?
pretty cool. Yeah.
See what I dig to do, bro. Like like you guys that are in the know, like I mean, you can just read all that technical on the screen and know who the people are. Is finding ways to like make infographics about it, or just like some little memes, bro, or something like that.
It's available on the Explorer. You can just go there. There's a status page where you can see all the peers and where they're from in the world and all that.
It has a nice map too.
Maybe we must start a like this, like Let's Talk Burst is obviously just chats and discussions about what we're doing and that. Maybe we must theme them and have one where it's just for peers and nodes, and then just like give a shout out to whoever's putting in that value. You know what I'm saying? And then even offer for people to come on to the show, like say, hey, you're hosting a node. How's it going? Like, what's happening that side? What's happening in your place in the world? What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So guys, are we live now? I'm seeing just
I think we are live, but I don't know where I stream. I think I stream not to all.
If you don't know, who else knows?
Nivok is supposed to look for this, but he's not answering me.
He's sleepy.
Where I don't know where we stream.
Okay.
So let's start, maybe, yes?
Yes. Go on.
Okay, hello, thank you who joined it. I don't know where I stream and where you see us, but I hope somebody watches it. So I am Algirdas. I am also known like Chefas. I am from BMF. It's Burst Marketing Fund and Blockplay. It's one of my projects, and from BT Dex. It's Block Talk, Decentralized Exchange. I am from North Europe, and that's all. Let's go to our Zoch. Who are you?
Yes, I'm So, as we also can say.
Zoe?
Yeah, I'm a former member of the BAT team, the Burst app team. Still a huge fan of that team. I'm the one who did the Explorer on the explorer.burstcoin.network. And I'm just into basically running the Explorer and also help different part of the community like the BMF and of course the BAT team and so on. So yeah, I just contribute whenever I got time, and I love Burst. Yeah.
Alistair, you have turned off your microphone. Oh.
Awesome, man. Can I go just now? I just want to wait. They're making some noise here. Okay, there we go. How's it, guys? I'm somebody and nobody at all. Like, I don't really have a label or do anything in particular. I do a bit of everything and a bit of nothing. I found the Burst community on Google, and then started digging further and further, and I've ended up all the way in GDP mining, which is part of Burst, and the latest one I think was Foxy Pool. But there's also BMF, there's BT Dex, and they're all part of the same thing, really. It's all one big community, and you guys should get involved. It's really cool.
Westhorn?
Okay, my name is Westhorn. You can find me by that name on the Discord channels. I'm a quite long time supporter of Burstcoin. I think it's the best coin out there at the moment, if we look at the features. And I'm also running a token on the Burstcoin exchange and blockchain too. As you can see, as my avatar names this token. I don't really have any other ties or connections with the Burst community. To be honest, I'm just lurking around, helping if I can. I'm from Central Europe, by the way.
Okay. And the last is me, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Hi, I am O'Hager or Oliver. A very creative name, or I have here a nickname. I'm part of the Burst Apps team since we founded it. Yeah, in January
last year.
Yes, it was like I'm the co-creator of the Phoenix wallet together with the Burst.js library. Yeah, I'm part of the team and the community, and beside that, I'm just doing my side projects for the community, some particular ones, more open ones, and I try to code as much as I have time, but it's not that easy having a full-time job and all. And yeah, it's a small detail. I'm from Brazil, but I'm not a native Brazilian, not like our great John Joss.
Okay.
He's not here. Yeah.
So let's answer this question. What is Sodium?
Sodium is the name of our first hard fork under the flag of the Burst Apps team since we founded it. It is the first hard fork since, well, 2 years, 1.5 years, something like that. 2 years now. And yeah, so we have some improvements on the protocol. Yeah, this is a detail, very important detail. The hard fork will happen, it's programmed into the new BRS version, like 2.5, and the hard fork will happen on 765K block height. So we already informed just the first things first. We already informed Bittrex, they are up to date, Etherbase is up to date, Stacks is up to date. So we got in contact with all our few listings or exchanges were listed. And yeah, there's a good collaboration with all of them. And it works out of the box. And let's see what happened in the next, we are a few hundred blocks away from that. And let's see if it will be some kind in during the night when I sleep here in Brazil, there will happen the hard fork. So, and we have some improvements. We have a list of so-called CIPs. I think the most important one is the CIP 20, we call that. So this is the reduction of costs for the execution of smart contracts. So what's the smart contract story? Due to the efforts especially from John, but other people in the community also, John Joss, we were able to provide a Java compiler to the kind of machine language or assembler language like Sion, which is a huge step forward because it's just like it simplifies, it facilitates extremely the way how we can write smart contracts. And due to that compiler that was launched last year already, and we had already the first experiments, so namely the Koinor token, which was a huge success in the blockchain, but we are working on other applications using more tokens and more contracts. We will talk about this a little bit later when the BTDEX will be presented. So one of the greatest limitations was not only the barrier, the entry barrier due to the complexity or the not so intuitive language stuff of an assembler language. So we have a compiler that compiles down to, oh, what's that? What's
Who
that?
is?
There's some microphone open.
I think it's Moonlight.
Maybe.
Can we mute him? Can we mute him somehow? This is a fun fact.
Like,
yeah. Whoa.
it really seems
First,
like
I thought it was Oliver's wife
mining
going
is
mad in the
over.
background.
Whoa, what's going on here? Okay, yeah. So one of the, I talked about the difficulty of the entry barrier to write new contracts, smart contracts. This was due to the problem of writing a SIEM code because it's really error prone and you need to be very, very nerdy to go into it. So with Java, you have much larger developer reach on that, so that we can do that. And we figured out that there's quite limited and the execution costs were pretty high. And as we are looking out for adoption and all of that, so we decided to lower the fees for the execution of a smart contract. So maybe I can screen my show my screen just to show you. Oh, it's disabled. I cannot.
Disabled?
Disabled screen share. I cannot.
Sivas, you need to enable it.
Meanwhile, for those who are not familiar with smart contracts, what do smart contracts do for the simple person? So just average Joe joining Burst, and why should he be interested in smart contracts?
Oh yeah, this is so true. It's what it's doing is like an important question, and it's like you can think of it like a code, really a Turing complete code in that way. So it's just a machine code you can run on the blockchain. So the code will be stored permanently and immutably on the blockchain, and the code will be executed in time from time to time. Or means you can call methods on that, or you can just execute transactions, and this is the trigger for the execution of that kind of logic you put into the blockchain. And this is quite nice because it's called smart contracts, because once you have agreed upon a certain logic, like an automatic or conditioned payment, so you can you just can publish that on the blockchain, and then it will be executed without needing some third party in the middle, and you don't have really to trust others when you're executing that. Of course, you have to make a review of the code before, and you have to agree upon it and all that. So this is the great thing of smart contracts. It's like not only registering transactions, and it's like executing code logic, really. And Burst is, though namely the Burst, the smart contract pioneer. So everybody's thinking that Ethereum is the one who was the first to introduce the concept of smart contracts, but the real implemented one was with the start of Burst in August 2014. And there is a kind of small virtual machine running inside, which is executing this bytecode stuff, which we call Cium. It's like CY, well, Cium. This is CYAM, something like that. I forgot that.
I can try explain the more simple. It is small programs which run in blockchain. So
Yeah.
blockchain is a network of nodes which agree to each other. And the main point of smart contracts is that it is public, and we all can see what is written here and what rules are, and nobody can change it. Its code is the law.
So it's kind of like an insurance that once this code has been uploaded as a smart contract, it will be done whatever logic is inside it.
Yeah.
Yes.
To the best and to the worst, because if you have some errors in it, then it's like eternally there.
Yeah.
It is same problem with like we now have this sodium is hard fork. So that is mean that this new version of nodes don't interact with older versions. So it's very hard to update, and we need support from community.
And we can also say that this is a leading technology, and Burst as natural is a pioneer of this technology.
Yeah.
Among all coins.
Yeah. And so the one problem with the smart contract is like it's just like there is some costs involved. Costs when you're activating a contract, costs when you execute a contract, and so these costs were pretty high, so that even simple contracts costs about 30, 40, 50 burst. This is not much money right now, we know that, but this is like something, this is a barrier for doing some larger things. And another thing is that we're limited in the space, and we call this code pages for the execution. So you cannot write an entire huge program which is doing like, I don't know what. There are other limitations, strong limitations, like we cannot make, for example, API calls to some services or something like that. This is something which is really isolated code with a almost self-containing logic with a very, very limited functionality in some parts. This needs to be clear. This must be discovered during the development for people who start entering it. But we lowered the barrier to enter due to the Java compiler. This is something very comfortable, and it makes it even possible that I can also write smart contracts. Yeah. And this is pretty cool. And I'm really working on that and doing some stuff with non-fungible tokens, NFTs, which are some unique tokens, and all of that. So I can share a little bit about the costs.
Can
So
you share, Hacker, can you share your new Explorer for the AT that you coded, that just released?
Oh yeah, the Explorer. This is cool. Yeah.
Can you type it in the chat? That would be really cool when we're talking about this, that people actually also can see.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, of course I forgot about that. I just released that. Thanks for it.
It's good that I'm here to remind you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me see.
Does make sense then it's there when we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I think you can share screen.
I can. I will do. It's free. Let me just.
Okay, I can talk about the smart contracts. But it is easy. I'm a hobby coder, and I can code smart contracts too because it's very, very simple.
So what you're seeing right now is the smart contract inspector. One of the problems is I discovered that when you have the contract published into the blockchain, it's like bytecode, and the contract can hold a state. This is important. So let's assume that we have kind of contract which is like holding some burst. So you can't just like make transactions to that and can say that, okay, this you charge, kind of thinking of charging the contract. So the contract can hold an amount of money, and this amount must be stored somewhere. Okay, this is kind of state. There are other kinds of state, like it's a contract is active, or who was the last person who just interacted with that. You can do kind of any logic which is possible with the smart contract API. And the problem is that it's not easy to inspect what's the current value of some certain states inside a contract. There are some kind of encoding features. It's kind of hex coded, and it's a little Indian, big Indian encoding, and all this stuff, which makes it a little bit cumbersome to understand it. And so during my development in with Burst.js, so and the upcoming stuff and the interaction with John Joss and all that, so I thought it would be necessary that we have a kind of tool which makes it a little bit more transparent what's going inside, what's going on inside the contract. So what I do here, I'm just choosing the testnet network. I have an account here which I use for my smart contract development stuff. And you see that here is already listed a bunch of contracts which I am working on. Mostly there's kind of giving a small spoiler. This was what I call the Burst app token. This is the non-fungible token, the unique token I was talking about. And in the first list, you can see that this is the what? Yep. Okay, yep. And you have the name of the token. There's kind of descriptor. This is, as you can see, I put even some more formal expression inside the description. This is a JSON format. And you can see some status here, like, okay, this is a stopped, this is one finished, and he's frozen. And there's even, if you have an error in your contract, so the contract may die, and this is not recoverably anymore. This kind, it's like just occupying space in the blockchain. But it happens if you have some some programming issues inside there. And this is the first step inside. And now there is kind of, I can inspect it more. I see the state and all this stuff. I say, which is the current balance of this token, for example, of this contract, to be honest. And this is kind of the bytecode. I hope this is pretty visible. I'm not sure about that. This is like the bytecode here. You can see this is just a stream of numbers. But the more important one is that this one here, which are the data section. As I see here is everything zeroed. So I will just choose another one. Let me see. I will just take this one because I'm in development. I'm making some tests. This one is even okay. So I don't need they are not activated. These ones here. This is interesting. So I have some values here. You can see, and they're expressed in kind of hex code. And on the right side, you can see what's the decimal representation. And in case in this contract doesn't have this, as in case you have maybe some strings, some readable, human readable data, you can even inspect that. So, and it's like you need, as a developer, I need to know which is the mapped value, the semantics of the value. I know that this is the version number. This is a kind of an activity state, like Boolean. This is an address here. This is the account ID of a certain address, which is stored inside the contract. And I have other values here. There's not much to see right now, but it helps a lot on development, and it's publicly open so that people can watch into other person's contracts. Like everything in Burst is public and open. Yeah, and I use that for a certain tool I'm developing. This is I already presented once. As I said, my time is limited. I can even give a small spoiler on that. I need just to run up the this like in the between. If I'm working here, maybe somebody will just have some comments on that somehow. No, just hear my.
So a real-life application of a smart contract could be, say, some kind of system like a small lottery system, and if it is made as a smart contract, anyone can view the contract and everyone can be sure that if I send money to purchase the tickets, the lottery will be held as advertised and nothing can change that.
I just can say that best smart contracts use where it needed, because if you can use simple database, you better use database, not smart contracts.
It was just an example, less technical for those people who don't really understand what is a hex value, don't develop stuff, you know, just the average guy who might use Burst. Why would this technology matter to them? This is why there can be made some contracts that will be executed even if the world ends.
Yeah, I can give you some example of a use case which I'm doing here. So this is kind of a list of, think of it kind of a market store or an app store. The idea came up when I thought that we have a lot of tools and some people contributed already to the community, but all the tools and all the apps, they're kind of scattered around. So there's kind of a GitHub repository of that person, of the other person, another one has it on his own computer. And this is kind of a system here where I want to incentive the people to create kind of a digital representation of an application or tool for the Burst community, and just to expose it. Like it is like everybody can go into it and see what was developed. So this is not only for developers, but it's also for users who are looking for that. And it's kind of a marketplace or an app store. And the idea is that you can see here's one first token that you can donate on them, and there will be other further actions. Donation is like, oh yeah, I like thinking, oh, this is a cool application. Think of it like I will put, for example, the Phoenix wallet as a token here inside. And then it says like, okay, yeah, this is a cool app. I would like to donate on it. Okay, and so it's still in a very early phase. So you can start, for example, to enter an account zone here, and can start to register in your contract. And say that like I say like, okay, this is my application name. This is like streaming test, stream demo, and picking up some description here. I was just skip this a little bit. so I won't put there. I can even like introduce some text and say like it's for the louds, I don't know, or like it's like finance, whatever. So an application which you can be taken, which help later on searching for that, some licenses about the stuff, even a repository. We'll put here some fake URL, and it says you couldn't load the image, and then I have to put into my passphrase, and then with the token, like it's based on a smart contract, will be created. So if I go to this zone here, you see that I have already demoed some of that stuff. Each of them are kind of tests I'm doing here right now. They're in some states of that, like some of them are inactive, so I need to activate. I have the possibility to, this is the first one here I said, this is one which is activated. And there's already summing up the total donated amount. I think this could be interesting to make some metrics later, just to see like which is the kind of a famous application. It's like a kind of reputation, or used for have an indicator for a good reputation of an application. I can even transfer that. This is what a non-fungible token is about. That I can transfer to another person, and then the other person owns it. So I can do that. And this works all with the smart contract logic behind. So this is just the user interface I'm doing, and I'm using the blockchain as the entire database and the execution logic. So if I'm going to activate, you can see that he's showing me, saying that I have to pay a small fee to activate that. He's calculating that, saying it's about 5 bursts. I have this QR code. When I click that, then it opens the Phoenix wallet, which supports that kind of link, which is embedded here inside, and is already redirecting to the send burst feature, and then I can start to activate on that. So this is mainly a very kind of simple application, and I think it's a pretty useful one, which makes it possible that everybody can later can see what's possible with Burst and what kind of tools we support and all of that. So this is based upon some small UI stuff and a little bit of smart contract. So this is a pure and true decentralized application. This will be hosted somewhere, can be hosted on several different servers, and they will always have the access to the same information. Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, then let's start maybe something simple. Maybe Alistair, you can, your theories about your country, about loops feedback, about bad feedback loops you have now in your country.
Oh, guys, how's it, man? All good this side on a personal level. Yeah, I'm down in South Africa. It's like the southernmost part of Africa. And yeah, quite a corrupt country, corrupt governments. A lot of people complain about it, but you know, because they're corrupt, we've got to make our own self-regulation. We've got to, the guys even locally here are fixing the roads. So there's a lot of opportunity for community to get together. And yeah, I found the biggest thing for any crypto really to start working and having its, you know, its utility properly exercised is where there's a community, where you know your next door neighbor, where you know you're not just friends or they're not strangers. There's more neighbors, and I really feel we're going back to a localized way like that here in our country. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but yeah, it seems people are reaching more across their walls and not their Facebook walls, like the actual walls behind me. Which is really cool. And yeah, I found the same thing within Burst. Like I first started off just mining Burst myself, and then I found it just quite interesting. So I moved to Telegram, and then on Telegram I was just probably like a fly on the wall for about 6 months, just watching everybody else, what's going on.
Yes,
here.
I remember you, and I proposed it for you to join Discord, I think. No?
No, I do remember. I think that was BMF. The BMF, I think, was first. I think I got an invite from Frank the Tank, and then
maybe.
and then later moved to BT Dex, which is also it's a really nice community. What I like to try look at is we kind of have our physical human sensors, and then we've got sensors. If you think about it, it's our microphones, our speakers, this webcam here. So I don't see the two like as mutually exclusive. They work together. I mean, I'm communicating with my sensors through my sensors to you guys right now. And in BT Dex, the Discord community there, most of the time, it's obviously through the screen and it's computer stuff, but I sense a lot of sensors behind the sensors in the community. And that's mainly made up by the guys that are hosting this right now. So I'm also looking forward to really getting more involved with the community and finding ways where we can make feedback loops. Because that kind of happens in nature. We've built like a city and our supply chains are so close. We'll buy something from the shop and then just throw it in the bin. Whereas in nature, that's not happening. Things are continuously recycling back into the ground. You're supposed to, like with eating the fruit, you put that pip back in the ground. Hey, lekker man. We've got some more eyes, more sensors here. So yeah, basically where I was last time, I'm still singing the same tune. What I want to do, this was before COVID came out and everything just got locked up and locked down, and yeah, the fear just got unreal. So what I'm looking at doing is I want to start like doing my whole burst mining journey over again, and it won't take as long because I know what to look out for now. I've also had help with the community just giving out pointers. And it's for everyone, man. Like from the let's just use animals as a metaphor, from the smallest mouse to the biggest mammoth, and it's like that. I mean, I came in and thought, oh yeah, I've got a lot of hard drive space here, and the one guy's got like I think like 55 million gigs or something. So it's pretty unreal, and just the level of respect, and there's not a lot of infighting in burst. And I think it just goes with the technology too, because it's proof of capacity. We more in the books, we more in the hard drives, more storing files, and it attracts that type of person that I've seen too. So yeah, just to wrap up, I'm going to be uploading more like videos and stuff, part of the burst community, and I want to just grow this philosophy and this idea of working across walls, across chains, across sensors, across Discord channels. Let's be the first guys that actually are like, hey, it's not because I'm black or because I'm Bitcoin or because I'm burst. Let's actually work with like all this utility we have now. And this is another thing I've been doing. Small little communities are started forming, but then as I zoomed out and more into the crypto landscape, I could see that everybody's doing it. So what really needs to happen now is everybody to start using all this utility and across chain and working together, and I really see that happening. And I don't know if it'll be so much my gen and above. It's more the lighties that are coming through. So yeah, you guys must stay tuned. There's going to be some interesting stuff, and I want everybody to come along. It doesn't matter if you're a noob or you're a software engineer. It really doesn't matter. Anybody can get on board.
Okay.
Cool, man. Lekker, shot O's.
Let's return to Sodium. We forgot to mention slot fees enforcement, Deeplink specifications, block time stabilization, and subscription fee reduction. Maybe Oliver, you can.
Yeah, they're more. We were kind of lost in the main feature of the Hardfork, which is the reduction of the smart contract fees, which will be a huge step forward. There are some resentments that people said that could be spamming, but yeah, we need watch out for adoption. So what's the other stuff going on there? So we had some stuff which is a kind of a specification to make kind of deep linking. Who does not know what deep linking is like you can create some URL like strings. You all know that from the HTTP, HTTPS and all that stuff. But with deep linking, you can make like application specific linkage, which is mainly used in the mobile world. That I can say that with a link, I can say like open that application and do that. You know that from the Zoom stuff. If you get a Zoom link, it starts open the Zoom. If it's installing your system, we have this already in a legacy version, which was the prior development team started to introduce the deep linking. This makes us possible that we can, for example, start the Phoenix wallet and redirect to the payment page and fill out the fields already. So, but this is kind of undocumented and unspecified without a feature. And so I formalized a little bit the specification, how a deep link in the burst universe should look like. I implemented some API extension for that, for the BRS, for the reference software. And it's not in use yet, but it's available. So with a version of 2.5, this API is available. It's documented, and we can start using that. I would say that. Of course, there need kind of tutorials how this works and all of that. But the idea is that you can make something like instead of writing HTTP something, you write like burst dot, and you get like burst dot wallet, and then you put some stuff in the URL, and you can like trigger some actions with a payload on that. This is will be more stuff in the future. Another feature, this is the SIP22. The SIP23 is the fee slot enforcement. That means we have a slot system in Burst, which is like trying to prevent that the blockchain is being spammed and all that. And so it's like, and like a kind of prioritization of some transactions. If you pay a higher fee, so your transaction is kind of more important in that way, and that will be executed first. There are kind of mechanics behind of that, and it was not like before the 2.5, it was not enforced. That means that somebody who tries to send us much on very low fees, that it's can't start to being that the transaction is not being denied for somehow because the stuff, the block is stuffed and all that. So we have this enabled. Yeah. Another thing which is much more important, or even very important, is the block time stabilization. In the past, we had some fast blocks and we had some slow blocks. This is due to the calculation of the deadline or the deadline computation. And this is like the block time sometimes reaches up to 2,000 seconds, but it's now we have like narrowed the spread a little bit so that the deviation is not that huge. Formerly it was like 10 seconds up to 2,000 seconds, and now the block time is about 100 to 360 seconds, with the average of 240 seconds, which means 4 minutes, which is the average block time in the Burst blockchain. And the last one which is going there is like something that was already there, but it was disregarded or not implemented, maybe forgotten somehow, that we have a feature which is kind of very neat and nice. It's called the subscription. This means like you can like doing like regular periodic payments. So you just say once that you want, for example, every 2 days, I would like to transfer a certain amount to a certain account. And this is what we call subscription. So you just need to do that once, and then it will be automatically executed. And the cost for each transaction triggered by the subscription was 1 burst. This was an old fee, and due to the introduction for these slot fees a long time ago, so we just adjusted that and make the subscription fee to the minimum necessary fee, which is about 0.00735 burst, which we call a plank. Yeah, and not the plank, which the plank fee. We call this plank fee.
I actually have an example where we use the subscription fee today. So the NDSA rewards is actually a subscription for the BMF. So when the community has the reward for having an online node, that's actually made through a subscription fee. So, yeah.
Because let me just, sorry man, I just wanted a quick question. A subscription, it sounds similar to like a debit order, like at a certain time period it goes off. What, am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, it is that.
Okay, cool.
So Zoh, you created this script NDCA, which pays for nodes.
Yeah, I create multiple scripts running on
not only this one. Yes.
So yeah,
So
but one of them is the NDSA reward script that's running on the chain, who is rewarding people who are running a burst node, and is also running the latest version, of course. I'm not sure if we should go into all the script that I created, because then I guess we could talk a lot, and also Oliver could talk a lot, I guess.
So how much time person needs to run its node to get reward? Because I always see in chat, I don't getting,
Yes. So on the Explorer, you can actually see what entitled you to get the NDSA reward. I'm just looking over to my third screen here.
Third.
I will show you afterwards. I have a lot of screens going on.
Yes, remember.
So of course you should run a node who is 2.5.0 or above right now to get the NDSA reward. You should have in the config file, there's a variable called peer-to-peer.myplatform. That should be your burst account address. You should also have your node to be connectable from port 8123. And of course, your node has to be online when the script runs. So, and people don't know when it runs. So basically, you will need to.
I was about to ask about that.
Yeah.
It's just randomized, so you don't. There is like a random execution time, something.
Yeah.
So,
A little bit. Yeah, we change it from time to time because some people are trying to exploit. I guess that's the nature of the human. And Frank the Tank and I do some minor adjustments along the road. But it's basically just make sure to run the latest version of the BRS software. Make sure that it's connectable for peers. So port 8123 is actually for peer communication. So that's not the port that exposes your wallet so people can log in from the internet. So basically, just run a node that is in connection with the burst network, and then you will have the reward. I'm not sure if we should share the screen. Can I share something?
I think you can. You push green share screen.
Yes, I just need the Zoom to get up here.
Oh, I think it's harder to exploit when there's a bit of chaos. And humans sometimes see chaos as a bad thing, but if you go look at the waves in the ocean, not one wave is the same. That's chaos.
Chaos is quite natural.
Which screen do you
Order
see, guys?
is unnatural.
We see Explorer now, yeah.
You see the Explorer. So you can see here, this is the Burst Explorer. And there's actually a question mark here highlighting as well as the availability. So if you are interested in the NDSA rewards to how to get it, you can click the question mark and it will pop up. And this will state what's required from you to be awarded for the NDSA reward. I could maybe show this. This is some of the new functions that I implemented into the Explorer recently, where the crawler validates the peers. There's a lot of requirements here to what you want, if you want to be shown in the list below. So yeah.
So maybe Westhorn, you want to represent your token, why you choose it burst for your token, and what it is your token, what are you doing?
Yes, why not, after all.
Sure, if you want.
To be honest, the basic idea came quite randomly to have this token running. You see, the built-in exchange feature of Burst has been abused quite a lot in the past, and if you look up how many assets has been issued on this magnificent network, most of them were simply scams. We can conclude that most of them simply didn't have nothing else to offer than take your money and fly away. And I felt that this feature should have some justice, you see. And I started asking people what would they like to see, what would they trust. And a lot of feedback came, mainly bad feedbacks, and so not
It's
positive
like
but negative feedbacks, some positive feedbacks.
all
And
feedbacks are
the
good.
skeleton of this token has been constructed based on those feedbacks. So what people would love to see running well. And the token itself is relatively a simple concept. Most mining tokens and projects simply rely on mining coins, usually not proof of capacity coins, but proof of work coins. And as they age, usually it comes down that the costs of running the equipment are higher than what the income is, and they simply fail. So my token chose a different approach, as it uses proof of stake coins that are relatively low power to run. What this token does is when someone buys a token from this assets, let's call it like that for now, that value is given to me in burst. I exchange this burst into another coin. I'm not going to name it. The point
Okay.
is that I'm staking it and it makes income and I can distribute that income. Now,
So sorry, this
this,
token is like a share of your business.
yes, we can consider it like that. Now, question can arise, why not stake your own coins? That would be quite reasonable to do so, I guess, right? Why trust someone else to do it if you
Yeah.
can do it? First of all, you don't have any machine running if you use my token. You don't have to worry about getting on the wrong blockchain, forking. Not every other coin is like Burst that can correct itself if you are on the wrong chain, which is remarkable, I have to say. It's pretty good that Burst does this on its own, not like other coins. It is giving a hell of time sometimes. And I have a basic fund that I put in from my own money that's in the staking pool too. And any income that my money makes is also distributed, not just the money that your coins made. So at any given time, if you are staking it by yourself, you're doing it all for yourself, by yourself, even if you don't have any cost of running the machine, you won't earn as much as if you would entrust me with it. Now, why would this be a business for me? I can tell you honestly that it is not. I'm not doing it for profit, for myself.
So why are you doing this?
It's fun, and I would already stake my own coins, and it doesn't make any difference if I do it like this or not.
Okay. So okay, maybe let's finish this. We are now 47 minutes up.
Okay, cool,
So
man. Shot. I want to just, yeah, Westbourne shot for that, man. It's yeah, it's very, I think, noble of you to do something like that. Nowadays, like that's like kind of unheard of. It's a scarcity in itself, and I think a lot of people would just think it's a scam. But maybe they just need a bit more proof and a bit more time. I think it's the same reason why you're planting so many trees for people as well. But yeah, proof and
Indeed, if I have to be honest, this token is running from the start of this year, and for months there wasn't any interest from anyone to join in. Then one guy came, then another one came, and just make a honest bet. What do you think? How much money is in the staking pool in American dollars? Just think of a number. What do you think? How much did accumulate?
million.
for
Not a million, sadly, not yet, but it's over 2,000 American dollars, which is in some countries not a lot. In my country, it would be a hell of a lot of money. And it just shows that people do have trust in this kind of business model. But it really, as you pointed out, it needs time, and people have to see it's consistent, it's running. I'm not taking away money, I'm putting in money regularly to increase my share in the business. So
Oh, that's good. It's like feedback in a way, like, you know, you reinvesting, by putting it back
a
into
feedback
the
of trust.
I'd like to see more of that, and also just the whole tokenizing idea. Like, I mean, there's so many tokens out there. It's not like a new thing. I think the biggest thing to look to now is how do we pin actual value to tokens? I mean, we spoke about it trying to make 1 token per tree that you plant, but I mean, the logistical and working nightmare is insane. Maybe if you got a factory and it's like a shirt or actual physical token or a skateboard they're printing or something, you can print a token per physical item. Then we start mixing blockchain with real world value, you know?
I think this problem, what you describe, is very complex. I mean, many people in the past, in history, have tried to estimate defining what is value. Say, when you go out and dig gold, what will be the value of that gold? Your work put into mining the gold itself. When you sell the gold, you obviously include your own work, but how much of that value is your own work and the value of the gold? These relations are very hard to describe, and I think so far nobody has managed to came up with anything reasonable to describe value. We sadly don't know what is value. We put tags on things like this pen is worth $5 for actually no reason. No one knows what is the value of a simple pen, or just think of a box with matches full of them. And there is no way to tell the value of a single match. You cannot calculate it. You cannot justify it. It costs something, and it would be unreasonable to go to a shop with I don't know 25 candy sticks and try to exchange it for I don't know a football or something that would cost the same amount in any currency, but you just can't interchange those things, and it really depends on the situation too. I mean value is not a fixed thing. If you take a cup of tap water, which is not really expensive, we can agree on that, I guess, but if you are in the middle of the desert and you didn't drink for days, I bet your ass that a cup of water will cost you a lot, and you would value it very highly.
So value is like a dynamic variable that's based on your perception, but also your current circumstances.
Indeed.
And also, like, I mean, your perception is what you value. I mean, I might find a Lambo worth nothing, but a Harley Davidson a bit more valuable, you know?
Yes. It boils down to interesting things. If you come to think of it, burst coin, well, mining burst coin alone is not really one of the profitable things you can do in your life currently, sadly. It won't really make you rich or give you a Lamborghini, but people still mine burst coin.
But then being rich again is based on like how much value you have and what you value. Like for me, like being able to mine with what I have and meet people that are efficient and they don't waste, and that's wealth for me, bro. I don't need a big car, or I'd prefer to have more nature and plants and know people that grow plants, you know, and that's what I'm getting. So I'm stoked. That's why I'm still here. If I wasn't getting any value out of Burst, I wouldn't be here.
Yes. On the other hand, if you look at the big coins like Bitcoin, if nobody could make profit from mining Bitcoin, no matter what kind of gear you use, it wouldn't make any profit. Nobody on the whole planet would ever mine another Bitcoin again.
Mm.
I
And
disagree.
Burstcoin is different in
disagree.
this regard, as even though it may be possible to mine Burstcoin with huge profits and whatnot, but unlikely. It still has a stronger, I think, a stronger community behind.
I
People like Bitcoins because you can mine it and you can profit. I mean, when the big price surge was 1 or 2 years ago, people were crazy about getting as many GPUs as possible to mine it and whatever, and ASICs and huge warehouses full of mining equipment. But as soon as the price did drop and it wasn't profiting in terms of money, people simply let it go. Burst is different. It doesn't matter what price it has, people still mine it. And I think for this reason, Burst coin is far more a better coin than the others out there, because those are just mined for profit and what people do with them. They sell it and that's all. On the other hand, Burstcoin has literally 1,000 of different users. It has its own exchange, this BTDEX platform, which is absolutely nice. It's
yes,
simple,
it's good
it's
that you mention
efficient,
it.
fast.
Do you use it?
Yes, I'm using it. I'm checking it every day, and I really hope that it will be more widespread. I do recommend it to people who are new to crypto stuff. I do talk a few people about this great new world we are facing when you don't longer need to be tied to any bank to transfer money to a person overseas, for example. And Burstcoin has everything. It has these smart contracts, which are really useful if you want to automate some kind of business transactions. It has these super low fee subscriptions. If you say publish an online magazine and you don't want to bother people paying it every month for it, they can just use the subscription with fees you mentioned. I mean, I don't even know if it would be a single cent just to subscribe, and it's really efficient. I mean, Burst can offer so much things, and it's so cheap that I just don't see why isn't it used more by
I think
the general public.
We need
maybe
to.
people don't know about it. We got to talk more about it, just like in our daily lives. I mean, even like my friends or parents don't know what Burst is, and this is what I'm going to look at doing as well, just spending more time. I'm talking about Burst,
I,
mining it.
I guess
Yeah.
not only talking, but in doing various things. I think we are creating now this ecosystem with BTDEX. We create entry points decentralized when we lower it now all these fees. Now, like Oliver can do its various projects, things. I with Blockplay will do various games, etc. I think Burst must be used, use cases where you can use it. Now you can rent from Shadow VPN. What you can do, other things with Burst.
Okay, cool. Let's maybe look at doing for let's talk Burst number 5 about entry points.
Entry
One
points.
I want to focus on between now and the next one is GDP
So
mining.
yes, we can. We will start cross chains trades maybe in week 2, and we can start on this and show more about this.
Indeed, it would be very useful to show the world what Burst can do and what does it do right now. What are the things that you can access right now at this given moment, and showcase what could be done. I mean, currently Burst coin looks like a Swiss Army knife that has everything, as it literally has everything you could ask a coin from having. I think we can agree on that, but it's simply underutilized. We have one of the best systems available, and frankly, not a lot of people use it yet. But I think that is about to change soon. I'm going to do a live presentation in our town about crypto coins, as lately in Hungary quite a lot of scams have happened in the crypto world, and people seem to be interested in learning what's all the fuss about, and how to avoid it, and what is crypto, how they work. Honestly, BTDEX will be one of my presentation tools, showing off that it takes only a few seconds to make an account and be able to
Oh, cool. So
accept
we
and
can
send
support
money.
you. We can support you from BTDEX budget if you promote, or it will be video maybe
I'm sorry
your
again, please.
presentation. Your presentation will maybe will be recorded.
I'm not so sure, as it will be in the town public house, and it will be a gathering of people who are interested to know more.
If you want,
Basically,
we can organize you stream live of
well,
your
maybe it can
presentation.
catch on and it can evolve to that level. For
Okay.
now, if anybody shows up, then I will be, even if it's just a single person, I will be very happy to give my presentation on how this what can I say? What is this? I mean, crypto scene is something that ordinary people doesn't even know it exists. They read headlines. It's Bitcoin, but nobody of these people really understand what that word even
Well,
means. They
it's not
don't.
very easy. You need to spend some time to learn. Or people don't want to learn. They want fast, one-click solution. That's all.
Well, if you come to think of it, if you pay for something with your native currency, you don't really want to know about the technology of that currency, how it is printed, who invented it, why does it have this dude's face on it.
But that's BTDEX. It's one exe downloaded and that's it, bro.
Yep, straight to the point. It's simple, and it does what it offers. You don't have to think about setting up anything weird or having special anything. You just click it. That's what people like. Click and forget, and not know anything else. You don't want to know how it works. I mean, it's like people driving cars. Most of them don't have any idea what makes the car go. They don't care. They don't need to know how an engine works. They just need
Yeah,
to drive the car.
we'll just teach them how to drive then. Guys, this is a hard drive. You must plot on this thing.
Yep. So anyway, it will be a not so long show, only showing the good side of crypto. I mean,
Okay.
what headlines do you usually see? 20% of terrorist attacks is financed by cryptocurrency or some bullshit like that. And there is a question that should arise but doesn't arise in people. How the hell does the other 80% get financed? Yep, fiat money. So
Yeah,
if
for
you
sure.
would like to ban or regulate crypto money based on a figure like that, you should also consider that the rest of it is done with regular money. So maybe we should ban fiat money and use only burst.
Ban.
It would be very reasonable if you think about it. I mean, you see that governments are cheating with money, corruption, as Moonlight mentioned it on government level. If everything would be just using burst coin, then you could trace every single little burst going somewhere.
I am not this kind of maximalist. I think people must have choice, and people must decide what they want to use, what they don't want to use. If people want to use fiat, why not? I am against this restrictions or no.
I don't say we should ban everything else, but under certain circumstances, when the money of a whole nation is at stake, you would want something that is open. You can check what it's done with it, I guess. I mean, you would like to know where is your tax spent on exactly. If you
Sure.
pay it, then you should really be able to trace it that, yeah, my money got to the right place and not stolen by some idiot. That's reasonable to know, right?
Agree.
And with fiat money, you cannot do that. It's impossible. But coins like Burst could offer this functionality. And even when they say that crypto money is the plague of the earth as it takes so much power and stuff like that, and you come to realize that Burst coin, on the other hand, is very energy efficient. And
I'm
it would
not fan of this argument.
not really a fan of it. Why?
No.
It showcases that Burst is a green solution. It doesn't take too much power to run the system, and that's why transfer fees can be so low. That's why it can handle so many transactions. It's secure. It's a very nice thing to have, I would say, at least.
Mm, it's not very related thing. Okay, I think let's finish the stream. Okay, maybe someone want to say something. Something missed. When
Just to cross the
Binance.
fingers for the hard fork right now. So
Yes.
just to mention that we have rolled out, I think there are about 80% of nodes which are running the new software,
78.
isn't it?
78
yeah.
at the moment.
So, and just mentioning that our few exchanges which are working on, mainly, namely Bittrex database and Stacks. Do we have another one? I'm not sure that this upbeat stuff is like not really. They are all updated. They confirmed that, so they are in. Usually they will stop withdrawals and for about deposits and withdrawals for 24 hours. At least Etherbase confirmed that, and I think this is the same policy. Bittrex does also, and yeah, so it will run on 765K block height. This will be in the next.
We all hope that so went good.
Let's. I think it's worth to mention that we actually did test the sodium hard fork, right? So we've seen this a few times successfully without any problems.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I would not anticipate that we would have any problems in this hard fork. I think it's well tested, and yeah, you guys probably also tested it along. At least I did a lot along with the test team. So.
And this is due to the efforts of the community. They were accepted that the node operators they followed that, and the exchanges were very handsome on all of that. This was very seamless for so far. But let's see what happened in the next hours.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, guys. I will end the stream.
Yep. And see you later again.
I don't know how to.
I don't know how to